of crowd control. So I'm a little bit worried whether or not TODAK will be able to respond to it, but we will only find out once we enter into the land of Dawn, and the brawl instantly starts.
Yeah, Zakus is about to die here. He has to force out, it forces out the flicker out of him. TODAK taking a very good level 1 trade, and Chiku guys very smartly taking the Queen's call just to ensure the slow.
Right. Honestly, Zakus needs to be a lot more careful. Grok as a hero is not as tanky as he once used to be. And with the armor shred from Chiku guys, they're going to be dishing out a lot of poke damage, which means that instantly TODAK will gain that mid lane control, allowing Rival to gain that Little Wanderer for free. TODAK, they're obviously very aware as well of the amount of CC potential from the Homeboys, so they have 2 Purifies.
Yep. Right now, Sapad getting absolutely ganked here. Chiku ensuring the death by slowing him down, allowing Formaze to run him down with the Ionic Edge. My god, that is a very early gank.
You would not expect that, especially from a marksman mid lane. So Homeboys thought that they could play more aggro because Chiku should be staying in mid and farming up his items. But no, that's not how TODAK works. Plus, again, the armor shred contributing a lot to taking down these tankier heroes.
Yep. Now 3 versus 2 so far. Yubski forced the flicker on out of there. GB, he wants to push back. Chiku finds the knockback with the heavy spin. Nicely played by the Homeboys as they take a kill back.
That was very patient from GB, waiting in the bush until we could see TODAK put themselves out of position. Once he saw the flicker from Yumski, he knows there is no way this Cho can protect the Irritel. And that's going to be a revenge kill onto Chiku, guys, hopefully slowing down his farm.
Oh, Momo tried to cheese out on him. That's so very smart. He knew he was going to hit level 4 off of that wave. He wanted to make sure he was in position for a kill angle. Almost gets it, but smartly on it makes it out. It's going to be Homeboys who secure the first hurdle of the game, and they even find Yumski in the process, Sapat not even having to use his Petrify to ensure it.
This is going to be the strength of Homeboys as drafted in this game. They have a lot of team fight potential. Even with 2 Purifies on the side of TODAK, there's going to be a lot more damage consistently coming out of Homeboys, especially towards the early to mid game with this Yuzon, with this Akai, with the Grok. So TODAK needs to be a little more wary about that. They need more map awareness before jumping in.
Yep, Momo face checks the brush, ends up dying, still almost survives, but the auto attack from Anip was just enough to clip him, dealing just enough damage. Well played for the side of Homeboys here as they're looking to push back against TODAK's unorthodox draft in game number 1.
Very unfortunate for Momo there. That football was basically a free kick and it landed perfectly on the mark, following Momo all the way despite having used the flicker. And this is going to be excellent for the Homeboys. That's going to give a lot of gold shield over to this Bruno. Momo wants to stop this.
Yep, but he really can't. All he can do is just watch helplessly as Anip is getting free kick after free kick onto the tower, farming the entire shield, putting Chibi and as well as Anip further and further ahead. Top side is basically, can't really do much. It's 4 maze on Uranus. You're not really going to get any work done. So let's make sure we can control mid and continue to punish the bottom side of the map.
Yep, the Homeboys playing very smart right now. You can see TODAK has to put a lot of pressure onto this bottom side. They cannot allow Anip to get any more farm, but because of that, it is slowing down the scaling potential of the rest of TODAK's heroes. You can see they are right now actually giving Chiku guys more farm in the jungle. Rival taking a bit of a backseat since he's already hit his level 6. They want to allow this Irritel to start contributing again.
Speaking of contribution, TODAK are just cutting off this Bruno. They are looking to gain some gold back for Momo to put him ahead of the curve or even it out a little bit. Zakas with a wild charge finds 2 onto Chiku guys and Yumski. They're not going to make any full commitments just yet, but Yumski is going to lock him in. Bang! Actually stealing the ult and taking out Chiku guys. Anip even flickering forward to ensure that he gets the gold. And now Homeboys on the top side of the map. They push out the mid lane and immediately start stealing away the purple buff.
This is beautifully played from the Homeboys right now. Again, they are a very momentum-based team, so if they gain an early game lead, it looks pretty good.
Yep. Anip now getting kicked. Oh, he slide tackles away to try and make it off, but he manages to get a 1-for-1 at the very end, and Bang should be able to secure the kill. Momo forced the flicker on out of there. Zakas with the power of nature is going to chase him to the ends of the earth. Can they secure this? Yes, they can, as Bang catches up and takes the kill.
Beautiful placement of the Guardian Bulwark right there, stopping him right in the edge The Guardian's barrier. It looks like he could pass it by, but turns out Momo just a little bit too fat to get across that corner. And now HOMEBOIS continuing to play around their early game pressure. Despite the fact that TODAK, that was actually a good idea to continue pressuring the gold lane since they know HOMEBOIS will want to extend their lead elsewhere. They went a little bit too aggressive, and because of that, gave up too many kills in return.
And now the siege continues, right? Bruno, he's already broken bottom tier 1. Top side is going to clear his wave. Once bottom side is cleared too, they can make things happen across the map. GB and Bang denying the rotations from Formays as well as Yumski. They are not safe to walk through the river.
And this is a big problem for TODAK right now. Their goal is just try and delay the game to allow Rival and Chico guys to get more farm. But HOMEBOIS are not going to give that space to them. They have a lot of map control. They have a lot of pressure. This is where HOMEBOIS needs to play active to force TODAK into an uncomfortable position.
Yep, and now top side, we're seeing 4 members of Conceal coming out, a gank being set up. Safat, if he sees this, he needs to go into Black Dragon form right now, but it's too late. He gets kicked in the nick of time before he's able to pop right off on the opposite side of the map. HOMEBOIS waste no time stealing away the jungle and also securing a tier 2.
That is actually very worth it for the HOMEBOIS. Yes, TODAK gets the kill, but they had to send 4 members up to the top lane. They still haven't gotten the tier 1 as well because they're waiting for the minion wave. And while all that is happening, a tier 2 falls to the HOMEBOIS. They get the turtle, and they maintain their net worth lead, continuing to apply pressure across the map.
Yep, we do see Yumski getting a kick on towards Zactus' side. Really doesn't matter as Chico guys is too low to join the fight. Zactus trying to finish him off, but here comes the Dragon himself. Black Dragon form from Safat, chasing down his targets. Brilliant coming out of Rival just in the nick of time. Any commitment? Yes, there is. Safat gets right on top of it, petrified to secure the kill, but they find a return onto Zacchaeus in... Oh wait, Chico, he ends up dying. He ends up dying regardless on the opposite side from GB.
Oh, that's unfortunate there. HOMEBOIS only lose their roamer and they get the enemy jungle and mid lane / gold lane. So TODAK are actually losing out on a lot of these fights because of the fact that they are behind in terms of gold. They're not able to take these big 1v1s, even more so the big 4v4s, which means that HOMEBOIS have free reign over the map right now. And TODAK not even having enough safe space to split push because of the presence of this Yuzong.
I think, what else could they do here? With the presence of Yuzong around, I think that TODAK is in a position where they have to make some sacrifices, right? Who is their main target? Are they looking to take out Bang? Are they looking to take out Bruno? Because no matter what, Bang is going to be a big threat. He keeps stealing the way of the dragon. He is looking for these counter ults time after time. It's getting a little frustrating for TODAK.
Yeah, definitely. But I feel like TODAK don't really need to worry too much about allowing Bang to steal the ult, because they're already aware that the Way of the Dragon is going to be the most obvious ability for Bang to steal. Don't put their mind into thinking about that and find different angles.
Yep. And now Yumski trying to actually save Momo from this predicament. He might be stuck himself. Should pose over the wall to make sure that he lives. However, on the bottom side of the map, we are seeing that both Chiku guys and as well as Formays, actually Formays creating some space to get some information on where Chibi and Safat is. He doesn't steal away the purple buff, but it does net them a tier 2 now that Chiku can walk up safely to it.
The most important players on the side of TODAK in the next couple minutes is going to be Formays as well as Chiku guys. They need farm on Iritel. They need the Uranus, the split push.
Oh, the steal from Rival just in time. GB was not able to make it happen. Rival using the Chaos Assault to try to get on out of there with the Darkening, but Bang with the Way of the Dragon going to secure the kill on the opposite side. Momo finds a kill onto Zacchaeus so far, but that's going to be Chiku dying over on him. He's too strong. Momo tries to secure this kill, but Formays is able to steal it away. A little sad here as Momo ends up dying regardless. And Formays in the middle of 3. Can he buy enough time? No, he cannot. It's going to be a 4-for-2 trade.
I don't feel like Formays needed to jump into that group in the end there. He could have just walked away, and that would not have actually been a bad trade for TODAK since they are behind. They actually narrowed the net worth gap by quite a bit just by trading off the cores on the side of the HOMEBOIS. But I'm honestly surprised at how many mistakes TODAK are making right now. It feels like Chiku is a little bit too aggressive, getting picked off way too many times. before in Iritel that is going to be the primary carry for his team. And because of that, the rest of TODAK aren't quick enough to be able to follow up.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know how TODAK is supposed to get in onto the Homeboys. I think they just have to stall this game out for as long as possible, right? They need to get to the 42k mark. They need at least 3 items, 4 items arguably for both Rival and as well as Chiku before you start seeing some real impact on the damage.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need to do, honestly. Just delay the game. Don't look for these fights because they are not necessary. The Homeboys will not be able to get push, will not be able to get objectives as long as TODAK doesn't give away free kills. And if they can distract them on one side of the map, they can allow Formaze to split push and pressure Homeboys' base.
Now they continue to move around the map. They're trying to clear these waves as soon as possible. Formaze as well as Chiku guys are working very closely together. But Momo trying to go for this flank. He's getting hit by literally everything. Ends up dying regardless. And Formaze slowing them down. Yubski gets the kick on towards Bankside to try and take out that ultimate, but he ends up dying regardless of the situation. They're throwing bodies at the Homeboys.
Now I gotta be honest here. This is not the first time we have seen the TODAK throwing bodies in a game where they are losing. And in the past, it has actually worked for them. And while it did look like TODAK didn't manage to get a trade up in that last fight, you can see that Formaze was able to get the push up bottom side. They lost 2 members, yes, but Homeboys are still not able to get a push. They're still not able to get multiple structures with a one-team fight. Although I do feel like TODAK can afford to give them a little less.
Yep, now, Formaze smartly going for a double proxy here to try and slow down this game even more. A very good idea for the side of TODAK, but Yumski still trying to make the play here. Rival with the Chaos Assault gets pushed away from the initial engagement with the heavy spin coming in from Chibi, but Momo tries his best. Chiku guys is able to take out Bang just in time as Supa now rejoins the fight, looking for the engagement. It doesn't matter with the Petrify as the Purify is able to cleanse it away. On him, it's still getting some good damage, but Formaze is really tanky, and there are 4 low members. He can chase them one by one.
Formaze should absolutely continue threatening Homeboys right now. And as long... Oh, yep, he gets that kill on Supat. He might die to a nip, though. The Bruno, a lot of damage inbuilt. Formaze, he already knows he's going down, so he's just going to stand there and accept his fate. But TODAK are actually starting to trade up here. Homeboys are taking these fights a little bit longer than necessary, and although they are winning in terms of kills, I feel like they may be giving away a little bit too much advantage.
We'll see about it. Rival can pull off another steal here that buys them an extra 3 minutes. This could be it. This could mean everything. Yumski, he's looking for an opportunity to kick GB away, but instead the heavy spin comes on through, and now GB in the midst of it. Who gets it? Who gets it? Oh, it goes down to the Homeboys, and now they're going to be running them down. Bang, trying to get on out there. A double kill coming out from Anip. His 11-2-2 score line proves to be too much for TODAK.
Neb is playing absolutely out of his mind right now, and giving him a hero like the Bruno is perfect against this lineup from TODAK. It's just such a big problem. None of them can survive this Bruno's damage. And Chiku guys playing really weirdly here, just jumping in, trying to go for kills that he really is not going to be able to get and feeding his life away.
Yeah, I do think that Chiku is trying a little too hard to debuff everybody so that they can get in on that fight. Their main damage dealers right now is going to be both Rival and, surprisingly enough, Formaze for the time being. But let's see how this high ground defense goes as the inhibitors are now under threat. They're trying to hold the line here as Chiku is even using the explosive arrows, but it's too late. They lose 1 inhibitor. They don't have enough damage to cut through the Lord fast enough. Second inhibitor coming through, but Zakas fights a wild charge onto 1. Formaze is now in trouble. On him, actually getting kicked back into the middle of that fight. Brilliance as well being committed. The heavy spin to try and disengage him, but yes, he manages to survive. It's too late. He's been taken down. A 2-for-1 trade, and now TODAK bounce back from the damage. GB, is he able to pick off Yumski? No, Supa ends up dying to Rival regardless, and GB is now all by himself. His team being wiped out as Chiku are getting free hit after free hit. Bang is trying his best. Can he land his last one? It's too late. Chiku turns it around once again.
Wow! TODAK once again making miracles happen, wiping out the entire team lineup of the Homeboys. That was a huge mistake. Homeboys did not need to extend that fight as long as it did. TODAK their win condition in a majority of these battles is just picking off a nip. Whether or not a nip lives or dies is equal to whether TODAK wins the fight or not. So major props to Yumski for somehow being able to get the kick onto the enemy Bruno, because otherwise Homeboys would have ended the game right there.
What an incredible fight that was, truly. Now, TODAK are in prime position, like you mentioned, to actually bounce back into this game. They've gotten that past that 42k mark. They hit the item power spike just in time to deal with the Homeboys, and if we're looking at the items so far, 4 items coming out from Chiku, guys. 4 items coming out from the side of Rival as well.
Yeah, we can see that Anip, he already completed his build earlier. Obviously, the Bruno very farmed right now, but Chiku guys not too far behind. There's a lot of defensive build on the side of the Homeboys, and because of that, you can tell that their damage is lacking if they don't have Anip around to play with. So there's going to be a lot of pressure onto Yumski to be able to continuously find the pickoff on the Bruno.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Yumski. Even Momo committed pretty hard to that fight, utilizing his flicker. So I think they're just timing it together, right? They're just timing it together to get in front of his face, to dish out as much damage as they possibly can. If Rival can jump in with the Brilliance as well, then they have some commitment.
And this is a situation where the Homeboys may have to invest a little bit. They have to group together because they need to keep Anip alive. And as long as the Homeboys group together, TODAK can constantly pressure the other lanes.
Yep, Sabat already using the Black Dragon form. He won't have it for this upcoming fight. Momo looking for some angles here, but Formace continuing to be annoying on the purple buff side. They are about to lose this. Yumski's in trouble, but Momo finds good kicks onto punches onto Anip. GB is a little too slow to save him, and also Sabat getting kicked by the way of the dragon. Ironic in and of itself. Bangs on the run, forced the flicker on out of there, and now TODAK pushing back against the Homeboys' inhibitor turrets.
Surgically done again by TODAK. Homeboys were putting so much attention into making sure that Yumski wouldn't be able to engage onto a nip, that they're basically ignoring Formace and Momo, allowing them to find the Bruno in the backline, and now TODAK are pushing into their base.
Yep, Momo continuing to put damage onto Chibi. It's not worth his time, but at the very least, keep him away from the rest of the team. As Yumski, he's got immortality, but he's on 1 HP. He ends up dying. Zakas with the wall charge finds 2. Is this the turnaround that we're looking for? Momo pushes them back once again. Chiku is locked against the heavy spin. Bang! Should be able to find it, but the power of nature steals the kill once more.
TODAK unfortunately overstayed their welcome a little bit there, so that is going to be a sigh of relief for Homeboys, as they're able to defend long enough for Anip to respawn and pick up those kills. Getting that heavy spin onto the Iritel as well, not an easy thing to do considering Chiku guys' mobility, but Chibi managed to do it, and that basically made sure that they would not end up losing right there and then.
Yep, they clear out these waves, and Homeboys, what used to be a devastating lead, they have been outscaled at this point of time. Bang can't deal with Rival. The Brilliance actually coming out early. The Wild Charge as well as the heavy spin. They're chasing for it. Sabat is trying to cover the back line as Momo is able to get some good damage. The knock-up on him. He's trying to get on out of there again. The Brilliance comes out as Bang steals it, but Yumski finds it. No, he doesn't complete the kick. Anip is still alive. GB may have given his life to ensure that Anip lives. It's a 2-for-1 trade, but the chase is still going on. Chiku guys is still going after him, and Momo is not letting up. The conceal comes on through. This should be a full disengage.
Yumski is doing such a good job. Yes, he doesn't get the kick in the right direction, but the longer he keeps Anip crowd controlled, the more control TODAK has over the fight. And they were able to trade 1 for 2. They're looking for more.
Yep, Brilliance already coming out once again. Zakas with a wild charge onto 2. Bang looking for an opportunity, but Anip forced to flicker away. Bang has to get on out of there with the Brilliance off his own, but here comes that mid wave. They're looking to end this. Anip is so low. They're rushing it down. Chiku guys will